Well, September is World Alzheimer's Month, so we're squeezing this topic in before the month's end. As with our population living longer and no cure in sight, the experts are placing more emphasis on healthy ageing. Dr. Frances Pitzilis is here to discuss what we can all be doing to take that advice and reduce the risk of developing the disease. Good morning, Dr. Frances.
Morning, Carly.
Well, first of all, for those of us that haven't been touched by Alzheimer's, tell us, what is it?
Well, Alzheimer's is as common, it's 75% of all the causes of dementia in the world. And it's a gradual decline of someone's ability to remember, understand, rationalize, do a set of procedures to be able to do things and to be able to perform daily tasks, poor short-term memory. Now, what's important about this is that the process starts years before you actually see symptoms.
So, is it like a loss of cognitive function?
Yes, it is.
What are the statistics around our population regarding age and Alzheimer's disease?
Well, we're told that 25 to 50% of people over 85 have got it. So that's quite important. And it's 30% more common in women. And I think that's because women live a little bit longer. And at the moment in New Zealand, there are 70,000 Kiwis with this problem, but it's going to more than double by 2050. And the amount of money being spent on it is quite a lot.
Do we know, Dr. Frances, what causes Alzheimer's disease?
Well, we sort of know that there are things you can control and things you can't control. You can't control genes, and to some degree, if you've had a head injury, which makes you more prone to it, or perhaps you get a few chronic health conditions that create more inflammation in your body, although you can partly control those. But you can control things like diet and lifestyle, which does have an important bearing on Alzheimer's disease.
So, what do the experts tell us about other proven preventions of Alzheimer's disease? What can we do?
Yes, now they really go on about exercise. It's number one. They go on about don't smoke and not heavy alcohol intake. Watch that. Get good sleep and manage stress, because sleep is your anti-inflammatory restorative activity. And they also know that a Mediterranean diet, highly plant-based diet, really helps. Avoid deep fried food. In some people, depending on their genes, not too much animal fat. They're also looking at specific nutritional deficiencies, iron, copper, zinc, vitamin C, vitamin E. They really have focused a little bit on B vitamins, and one source says that 40% of people with a low vitamin B12 end up with neuropsychiatric symptoms. That means they could have Parkinson's or other problems as well. And the problem with that in our community is the vitamin B12 blood test is not fully reliable. So you really want to be very proactive with that. We do know, and they are looking at the research on the fact that anything that's anti-inflammatory, including anti-inflammatory drugs, reduce Alzheimer's disease. But of course, they've got their own problems.
Okay, and what about taking something like fish oil? Are there any benefits to taking more fish oil or adding fish into your diet?
Yes, there are benefits to this, because the processes behind Alzheimer's disease include inflammation, which fish oil reduces. Your brain develops a diabetes type activity, which is why they call it diabetes type 3 in the brain, because the cells become resistant to getting glucose into the cells for energy. So fish oil helps that to happen, especially when you've got enough B vitamins. So it has got an important role, fish oil.
What about things like hormones out of balance or, chemical ingestion? Do they play any part in developing Alzheimer's or dementia?
Yes, they do, because when someone's assessing you to see if you've got Alzheimer's disease, apart from looking at you clinically and maybe doing a head scan, they're going to be looking for any deficiencies and any hormone problems. And I think the top ones are going to be thyroid and vitamin D. And researchers are also looking at estrogen, testosterone, and DHEA. Now, when it comes to chemicals, I mean, we've had more chemicals in our lives than ever before. And I think people need to become aware of what they're doing with their job and what's in their environment, and maybe look at seeing if you can afford some organic veggies or grow your own and going eco around the house.
Okay, Dr. Francis, what about things that we can't control? My grandmother had Alzheimer's. It was a horrifying, horrible disease. I'd like to do anything I can to not have it, as with my own mother. Um, we can't control our genes, right?
No, you can't control your genes. I think that's a bit of a debate, and I think some doctors will encourage you to have your gene test, ApoE4, to see whether you've got this and whether you've got one or two of these ApoE4s. But there are a whole lot of other genes as well. It's not just one gene. Nevertheless, just getting that gene done and saying, okay, if I've got one of these, I've got 40% increased risk. If I've got two, it's more like 70%. Doesn't mean you'll get it. It means that we know all the important lifestyle interventions that will significantly reduce your risk.
Thank you so much, Dr. Francis. We'll see you next week.
Great, thank you.
Stay well. And if you are concerned about anything we have discussed, do contact your own health professional. And you can find out more about Alzheimer's on the website alzheimers.org.nz.